Okay. We have a sign-in sheet.
Yep.
Okay, we're a little bit under the gun today, so, and we don't have a lot on the agenda actually, really, so, but we need to be out of here by 2:30, so.
All right.
Want to make sure we're here. Okay. So, call order, Rob, no, sir.
You want to say the pledge?
No, call order, oh, I just called order, yeah, now pledge of I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure, yeah.
Campaign for you.
Ooh, you get to sit with big.
No.
Gonna look at the show.
We'll see if you have any more canned responses. Take call order. Go ahead.
Robert Denham, Dearborn Wolf Creek, board member at this pleasure of.
Stacy Birch, board member, Marysville Canyon Creek.
Christian Leonard, Lewis and Clark County, Noxious Weed Division Supervisor.
Jade Wills, Lewis and Clark County.
Monty Miles, board member.
Mike Cobb, board member from the Augusta area.
Dave Birch, West Valley, Aaron Helena, Chair.
Jessica Mikas, Special Districts Coordinator.
Eats
Want
online.
to introduce yourself?
I'm Sophia, the aviation police per guy.
That
Pete.
Pete.
Pete Reed.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Pete, thanks. Okay, past meeting minutes outlines and we didn't have one for April 15th because we didn't have a quorum, so there was no minutes. Okay, good. We've had some discussions. Budget report for 297.
As of the end of April, no expenditures have come out of 297, but we should expect to see, Lily's expenses for, her training that you guys approved, so. By next board meeting, we'll see those expenditures on them. But as of right now, that's what we have in, WGSR, that's the special county reservation. That's the 7,500. We still got $12,196.82. And then the WGR MDT is the annual MDT funds that you get from the Department of Transportation at a total of $2,506.20, or a total of between the two, $14,703.02. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report on the budget unless you guys have questions.
But both the weed grant and the DOT ones should be coming in this month.
Yes, but before the fiscal year end usually comes in. It hasn't been the same time every year as of late, but it seems to be like mid-May, sort of when we're getting the 7,500 as well as the roughly that 17. It sort of changes, but that $1,700 that we get from NDT sort of fluctuates from time to time. Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Okay. Moving on. The HBIA registration for 27.
Yes, right here, this week, we have talked about, doing a pre-registration. It was $200. In the package, you can see the email response from, Crystal. To reserve it's to help lock in the pricing for this year, same pricing for this year, for next year. Because rates always go up, and then it helps us reserve the spot in which we are in. So, which I think in the last 3 or 4 years we've done that. Everybody really really enjoys that spot over the other spots that we've had. And so, and then this $200 actually goes towards the D2 at the end, so, yeah. So just looking for your guys' approval to submit that, with $200 to reserve our spot for next year. Looks like it's March 19th through the 21st for 2027.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Move the second to approve the $200 for the registration for the home show. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay,
Just a comment about that, when Christian and I talked about it. That being on, and Monty did too, being on that corner was just ideal, cause people come around there, you know, you get everybody. You know, and there's enough room for people to come in and talk, and it was a good setup, I think.
yeah, I think it's one of the better spots because there's always, like you say, there's always enough room for people, plus there's extra room for the stuff that we need. And then it's not crowded and condensed like some of those other ones are. You get 3 people there and you can't move. But this is perfect.
Yeah, it's sort of nice being in front of that door, because we sort of do get that extra, little bit of that extra space that's
Yeah,
really not included in the spots, you know, the spot sort of ends, but we're able to scoot that down a little bit. It worked out very well this year.
Yeah, we get to put our chairs next to the garbage can.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the show? Again, I thought it was excellent. I think the turnout was, did they give you final numbers?
And you know, she never gave us, I do know it's like 11 or 1200 that first day though, which is, that's a good amount of people. And the second day is usually not as much, but it was still a busy day for the ones that we were there with.
is it Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday?
Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, they let us set up on, starting, I think, on Thursday afternoon. They allow us to start getting in there, which they've always let us get in there first with our trailer. So that's always been very handy and helpful before they get all the other hot tubs and everything, no equipment in the middle. So yeah, they've always been really helpful with working with us to get in there on Thursday, and then that gives them Friday for everybody else to set up their stuff. So
The trailer got walked through several times that I noticed when I was there too.
it was very popular this year. It's been popular every year. It just seemed like there were a lot more people intrigued with it. So
Yeah, that banner, what to plant, what not to plant, was probably the most photographed place in the. We need to find a way to get that out as a handout
Yeah.
for future.
No,
One thing, one good comment, Monty's a good PR guy. He's great at it.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed with how many people signed up for other things,
yeah,
you know,
there was
which
a
we've
lot of
never
people.
had that interest before. did we?
Yeah, and that was something I didn't get a number on how many, but I know they filled the sheet.
They filled the sheet up.
Full sheet up, and then we were starting on the second sheet.
So 20, 30.
Yeah,
And so far, a couple of those people have turned into good finds. The Boy Scouts,
Mhm.
the leadership from the Boy Scouts Council was one of them.
yeah, so it's just for whatever reason, that seems to just be a good place. I know we're a little not necessarily totally in topic for, you know, but it still does end up working out because people are there to benefit their property in some shape or form regard, you know, might be going there for landscaping. We'll try to choose what rock they want, but they end up coming out, you know, knowing how to take care of at least the, you know, toad flax that they
Yeah.
have in those areas or spotted knapwings.
I think just about everybody I talked to was interested in learning how to control what they had. I don't think I had a single negative. I'm not gonna control my weeds. You know, everybody was, well, how do I control this?
Mhm.
Another thing they ask is, what do I spray it with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, we can't. We tell them we can't tell you, but
Yeah.
just go to the Murdochs or whatever and ask them.
however, I found a website from the Spokane Noxious Weed department that did a real good job of summarizing the chemicals that are available without actually making a recommendation. So it's by active ingredient. And it's a real good job. I actually have it on my phone because I refer to it every once in a while. So what's dicamba with milestone called? You know, where can you buy it?
Yeah, and then just to highlight Alex and Lily's awesome work, they have a lot of that information in those sheets that they have. It's not like actual like, um, we don't mention milestone, it is active ingredients such as like aminopyrrolid and similar, similar products that have this or whatever, so you sort of know what at least you're looking for, but yeah, those are very helpful and handy when we're handling this out.
Okay. Non-compliance. None this time.
Yeah, just one little thing here as a part of my update a little bit, but we can talk about it here now. There is no non-compliance that has made its way into appendices A yet. We do currently have 4 voluntary compliance letters that have been sent out this week. So possibly by the next, we'll see how they turn out, but there could be a possibility of 4 in Appendix A at the bi-monthly non-compliance meeting. So we'll see how it goes. If they all interact with us, there won't be anything on Appendix A's. So if there's nothing to have on there, that's something that we could talk about is, no, there would be no need to have that meeting for non-compliance anyways.
Okay, so going to that, so I need to know if we're gonna have a quorum available for that meeting. So, because we need 5 people. Way it's written right now, we still need 5 people at that board meeting. So I will be there. You can do it by Zoom as well if you wanted to. I'll try to be there.
What day? Is it the 20th? Is that what I read?
Yep.
Yep. The 20th.
So it's 2 weeks from today.
That's how.
3,
At 3
it'll be
o'clock.
at 3 o'clock.
And so you'd like to make sure there's a quorum
Right,
a few days before that.
Right. Actually, if we can
Do it today.
do it today, that would even be better than that we.
I'll
would know.
Zoom.
I'll be there.
I'm sorry, I am late. What day is the bi-monthly meeting?
20th of May.
I am launching on the Smith River that day, so I can't be there. I apologize.
Ah, geez.
Yeah. Okay,
It's gonna be raining anyway.
I'll be there one way or another, either digitally or in person.
okay. Okay, well, that'll give us 5. So we'll plan on it. If there's nothing, then you can let us know
Yeah.
a day or 2 before.
And there can be more than 5.
Right.
But we have to have a minimum of 5.
Right.
So.
Okay, that'll work out good.
I had a question just in the back of my mind. I'm just trying to follow the steps on non-compliance. And so say if you get somebody saying this property owner has a bunch of weeds growing in, you go out there and and that person said, well, I wasn't aware of it. I'll take care of it. And so that person's off the hook right then, right? Because he's gonna take care of it? Or does he still have to come to the non-compliance meeting?
So if we do send them a letter and they respond back to us, that's the first step of doing that. I wouldn't say they're off the hook, but they're currently working with us at that point in time. So they will not go into the Appendix A part. They will not be brought forward to you guys to send the certified letter.
And then so for those people that don't work with us, then that's what that mid-month meeting's about and this meeting's about.
Yep.
And and then they say, well, work with us then, and they fill out that form, and
Yep.
there's just follow-up then, is that all it is, or?
So yeah, that's, so when we get to that point, right, they don't respond to us in the time frame that's spelled out. They don't respond to us, they get put on appendix EA, that's when Alex and I will bring forward that on that section, and then you guys would vote to, you'd view the case. You would vote on it to send the certified non-compliance letter, which then they have to respond back, they have to turn in a weed management proposal and everything for your guys' review, which would be at the next meeting. To work through that, so, but yes, then we're always currently working with them. But there's a lot of nuances in it a little bit. If we do send them a certified letter, but we don't get anything back, or it gets sent back to us without actually being opened, then we're trying, it'll stay there as we're trying to figure out a way to maybe get in cadastrals. If there's a secondary mailing, we send it to that usually. But if we can't get in communication with those landowners, it sort of just sits steady until we're able to try to either figure that out, or in some cases, in some years, it just sits on the back burner, and then we just reload it again for the next season and sort of send that out in the early season to see if anything's changing cadastral, if the addresses or the ownership has changed. So, yeah, it's sort of, there's a lot of little nuances in it, but yeah, that's sort of what we're doing. Do that, send it, present it to you guys. The voluntary compliance goes out. They don't respond. We send the non-compliance to them via you guys' vote to vote on that. Then it goes out. They get a certain amount of time to also respond to us. Which if they do respond to us with that certified letter, we will work with them to come up with a weed management proposal to help them present that to you guys. So, and then it would be presented to you guys at that next meeting, for you guys to approve that weed management proposal, or if you guys have, any edits or additions that you would like to send back to those landowners to work on, at that point in time. But then again, if we don't get anything from anybody at that point in time, it would move down into the next step, which would be you guys voting to send it to the county attorneys. Well, we actually have to go and do posted order and all that stuff before we try to get that. But when it all ends, it goes to the county attorney's office if voted on by the board.
Or do you have to send a registered mail,
Certified back?
certified?
Yeah.
So they have to sign it,
Yep,
so you know they got it.
yep. Yeah, and that's usually what comes back to us is the little postcard that it was signed for. So that's when we know that they received it. Sometimes you usually get a response back from them before the certificate or postcard comes back. Usually is what happens, so. Yeah.
All right. Right on, go to the staff report, Christian.
Yes, we'll start with agreements here. The Forest Service agreement for the Beaver Creek area. I do have on here, we were supposed to receive 30 releases of Toadflax biocontrol, which we did actually, just receive them right before the meeting. So Alex and Lily are going out today to, put those releases out in Beaver Creek and
Which
Mark
Beaver
those-
Creek?
that's, like York.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not Lincoln or
No,
Augusta.
no, yeah. I know, we have beaver creeks everywhere, so, yeah, York Country Beaver Creek, so that's awesome. There, it was about $4,500 for a release out of that agreement, so, we still have $1,700 of, biocontrol still coming here to us. Yeah, Forest Service agreements, we received all the maps and trailheads to work on. Forest Service actually stopped by today for us to put little posted things up when we spray. And then before I left for vacation, they're currently waiting for possible extra dollars for that, like that global Forest Service agreement that we have with them. Supposedly they're meeting this week to figure out how many dollars they might be able to send our way to Lewis and Clark County. So, and then just trying to work with them to coordinate certain areas. We do have a contractor out in the Marysville area to hopefully work out in that area to coordinate between the contractor that we have working on that. So hopefully, Heidi Crum told me hopefully by next week they'll have better understanding about what money that we might be able to put out for that. So
So, the Marysville, is that Forest Service?
that's BLM. That one's the BLM. So, and then the BLM agreement that we have, for the which we specifically sort of chose the Marysville area. Next Thursday, May 14th, we're meeting together with Kevin Sheridan from BLM, me, and then our contractor from Helena Weed Control, Bob Summers, to go over the project area and set expectations and sort of get a baseline of what we have for weeds out in that area. So, looking forward to getting that rolling. So, MDT Butte, we have a contract with MDT Butte. It's the fiscal year 26 contract. We still roughly got about $912 left to expend here before mid-June. So, we do not have they have not sent us a fiscal year 27 contract yet. I've been working with Eric Waldemir from MDT. Hopefully here in the next week or so, we have that. So that way we can get that signed and executed for the next fiscal year, which starts July 1st. MDT Great Falls, that fiscal year contract has been fully expended. I'm just letting you guys know. And then we do have the fiscal year 27 contract in place and ready to go for July 1st. We haven't received any new management plans since the last board meeting, but we do currently have, we gained some and then some dropped off. So we still have currently 66 active weed management plans right now through the county. Talked about compliance already. Road management, hopefully going to be able to start right away spraying beginning the week of May 11th. So we are 3 returners will be back. So we'll have a quick little tutorial and quick little retraining to that stuff again. But hopefully we can get going with that with our 3 returning seasonals. Some of the special projects we've done in the last month, we did Bob Thomas up in Augusta area seeding project. They had made a detour there and sort of redid the road. And so we went out there and seeded that for the road department. We do have the landfill seeding project coming up for May 11th through the 21st to hydroseed the landfill out on Deal. It's about 5 acres worth of hydroseed. So we'll be busy that week. Craig River hydroseeding project. They got a grant to fix the Craig River Bridge. We went out there and roughly re-vegged about 2,500 square feet on the corner post where they disturbed the ground yesterday, May 5th. Currently working with RIDs on crack spraying, currently working through our prioritized list the best we can. There's a lot of RIDs, so working through those too. And then the Helena Regional Airport spray contract, we were able to do the crack spraying on April 21st. We got that done. And we still have roughly about $700 left for noxious weed management with the Helena Regional Airport to help them out. And that's what my plan is for tomorrow afternoon, is to work on that with them. So biocontrol, just a little update on here. Additional, working with the Rocky Mountain Front Weed Roundtable. They, Mark Corte from Teton County reached out to me. They're wanting to do $10,000 worth of biocontrol release in the next 2 years. So it's about $5,000 this year, $5,000 next year. They're wanting to put out spotted knapweed biocontrol out in the Dearborn and Augusta area. So he was going to be reaching out to some of the farmers and ranchers out in that area. I'll get together with you two to see. what
I
we
had a
got.
call from a guy named Olson.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll be working
So
with,
he asked
with
me.
you two to see what you guys have for sites or something like that and how many releases we could have in your guys' area.
Jim Spinder, is that,
That's the guy that works for the Forest Service.
and he saw, he mentioned a good place for biocontrol for the napoli,
Okay,
for the Forest Service property, so.
perfect. I
Right
think
there.
Mark, I'll make sure, I'll reach out to Jim to make sure that Mark's, just to see if Mark's contacted him on that too, so. Yeah, education and outreach, Alex has been really busy. I was out for some of this, so I wasn't able to join him, but he does a lot. Alex and Lily have been just killing this. He did a HOA meeting out at Black Sandy for noxious weed management while I was gone. And then I actually have some cool handouts I'd like you guys to sort of read this little synopsis of the World Migratory Bird Day at Montana Wild. Really cool. I'm sort of sad I missed it, but they were able to make watercolor pigments with noxious weeds. I think he did 7 or something like that of noxious weeds. 4, 5, 6 of noxious weeds, and then he made some watercolors with saffron, hibiscus, and turmeric. And as you guys pass it around, you can actually see some of the watercolor pictures that people painted in the back. But it ended up being a really cool, just from what Alex was saying. So, but they were able to pair migratory bird ecosystems and the impacts of noxious weeds within those ecosystems. So 110 kids is roughly what they anticipated that participated in the painting. And then I include, moms and dads and everything else that go with it. So that's a lot of people that got that. It was the 28th year of doing this. So
Where's this at?
it was at Montana Wild. It's just
Spring Meadow.
yeah, just by Spring Meadow, yeah.
My kids loved it. It was a great event.
Yeah, I didn't even know it even was a thing. Yeah, so it was really cool. But to pair noxious weeds with migratory birds and the effect on the ecosystem and how noxious weeds reduce certain kinds of insects for them and changes patterns and all that stuff. It is really cool. Yeah, Alex and Lily are doing an amazing job.
So
It's pretty
what, I don't understand the watercolor. What's that?
They were pigments derived from plants,
Mhm.
mainly weed species. And Alex got the chemistry down, so he actually was able to pull out the colors.
cool. Yeah.
And it was amazing. I was there for the full day.
Oh,
And it started off, it was real slow. Kids didn't understand it. But as soon as we got some examples, we started off with doing 2 or 3 chairs, and we could have had 10 chairs and 2 tables. We had kids waiting for a half hour to paint
wow.
with these plant pigments. So it was really good. We also had habitat Jenga, which was insects and birds. And as you roll the dice, it tells you which insect to pull out of the Jenga stack. And after about 6 or 7 bricks are taken out, your habitat collapses and you lose all your birds.
Mm.
So it was that was less effective, but the painting, kids from 3, 4 years old were out there smearing pigment on watercolor. So we actually had some decent artists show up. Some of the kids that actually really had a plan when they sat down with a piece of paper. But it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
Really nice.
pretty good, actually.
Dane's duck there.
Yeah, we got probably another 15 to 20 volunteers, and these are all younger people that are active and wanted to get involved in some of the weed mitigation work that we're doing, either on trailheads or potentially on trails. Victims for our first a weed pull at, Spring Meadow Lake. You know, these are the kind of people that we would like to have show up. And so we got quite a few of them to add to our list.
Good.
Awesome.
So when is that poll gonna be?
So I do know this, Alex was wanting to wait till after Weed Awareness Week, so that way we could go participate at, you know, the one at the shooting range.
Okay.
Just so Lily has at least a good, you know, Lily and Alex have a good example of sort of how the NBA runs that. Yeah, just sort of how they organize it and do that. So then that way they can sort of take that and replicate that at our trailhead. So, yeah.
Was Megan out there at the bird thing, do you know?
I didn't.
No, I think she was helping out with Jill Allen from Jefferson County. They had their conservation days this last weekend, so I imagine it was probably the same day I saw that on Department of Ag or something like that by a post by Megan. So
Be kind of cool though, because I think she should, I mean, if they can do that with the, especially with the weeds, that's something that they should probably try to.
yeah, we'll see if we can reach out and have Megan join us for that week.
And or Becky too,
Yeah.
the Weed Control Association, it's kind of cool.
One of the things I was talking with Alex about after being at this event, if we're gonna hold or sponsor a weed pull, we probably should have a budget for things like water, pop, prizes if we are gonna do competitions for longest knapweed root or the most knapweed for, you know, a group of people or something like that. So we need to start thinking about either sources of funds and how much money we want to kind of target.
So we're gonna do it sometime after June 7th, right? So why don't you have Alex or Lily put a budget together? And present it at the next board meeting,
At the June 7th meeting,
at the June 3rd meeting.
June 3rd. Okay.
Then that way we'll have a better idea what they're looking at and what they might need, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we will, I mean, for pop and water, we would have to make sure we have to put in a request to purchase drinks or stuff like that through the chief administrative officer, I'm pretty sure, so. But if we can explain where the funds are coming from and stuff that. Anyways, yeah.
Good.
But yeah, we can put that on the list. Sure.
Anything else?
And then, Alex is scheduled to be at the farmer's market this Saturday, May 9th. I believe from 9 to 1. So, my daughter has a soccer game at 9:30, so I was hoping to, after that soccer game, to go out there and participate with them and at least help clean up before my daughter's second game. So that's sort of my goal. We'll see how it goes. It'll be a busy day. So, and then staffing, currently working on seasonals. We had 3 returning. I was able to hire a gentleman. He's a teacher, so he'll be able to start June 15th. And then right now I'm working with Kenny to get approval to do a city county email blurb for, you know, just to outreach, just to see if we can recruit in that manner too, just to try to help with sort of struggling trying to get applicants. So I think we've had roughly 8 applicants. Out of the 8, only 3 have interviewed. One took a job at an actual full-time job, and then one just wasn't quite there, and then the other one was a teacher that I think will be a very good fit for what we got going on here. So, and then I have one thing to say. Judith Ann Vincent, she's not here today. She is positive again for breast cancer, so she is out, and sorry. So I don't mean to get emotional, but she's out going to the doctors. So I'm just hoping this summer we can help her out however we can. I know she's got some spray days coming up here in June. And so I'd like to try to help her out and get those done. So
Yeah, we talked about it. And her biggest concern was the interact. Let's not wait about that.
Yeah.
That's not a priority. So we'll still coordinate it and get it rolling.
So
She said she would be there to help as she could if what, I'm like, hey, we'll do it.
Stacy, and let us know too, how we can pull together and help facilitate some of that.
Yeah, whatever we need
It's
to do.
been a really work session. I mean, we invited Kevin the last couple of years and made some tremendous progress in that area. So it's good. And Judith Ann is just, pushing forward. So
Anyways, that's all I have for my staff report.
Okay, I'll get a card and then if we have a meeting in 2 weeks, we can all sign it. If not, we'll wait and sign it on the third then and get it to Judith then, so. So did Elizabeth just go off?
Mhm.
Do you know who she was, who she is?
No.
I don't know her either, so I was gonna wait until Christian got done and ask her to introduce herself, but okay, well, we'll see how that goes. I guess. Okay, Jay, do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay. Just
Sure, thanks. Our road department has started grading, working through some of that maintenance. Gravel roads in particular, have been hit pretty hard. I think just with the mild nature of the winter, a lot of things just didn't really freeze in, and those gravel roads in particular didn't really set. And so, those are in pretty rough shape, really rough shape in certain areas. So working through that as time allows and as weather allows. The Craig River Bridge project is complete. That's opened back up. They had a little bit of a weather delay before they could pour, just with the temperatures dropping there for a bit, but they were able to get that done in just under 3 weeks, which is great. Lincoln still has the 2 open operator positions. One has been open since October, one opened up more recently. But because of those vacancies, they are having to send 2 guys out of this shop up there to work. So it's pretty shorthanded. And it'll continue to be difficult until those positions can get filled. So if you know anybody in Lincoln that's interested, that'd be great. Let's see, procurement for our bigger invitation to bid projects is happening. Last week, awards were completed for our asphalt bids and also our crack sealing for RID work and also the road department work. Chip sealing and scrub sealing are currently advertising and those will come in soon. Asphalt and crack sealing came in pretty good still, price wise. We're curious to see how chip seal and scrub seal with that higher oil content will come in, and hopefully we'll be able to complete projects as planned. Budgets are being finalized now and they'll be presented at the end of this month to the commission for final approval. So it's a pretty busy time for our financial people right now, but it's going well. That's really it. Project planning right now and getting ready for the big push to get everything done in our short construction window. That's what I have.
Thank you. Any questions? Thanks. You have anything for us?
Nothing really to report. No, just getting weed questions now again. So it's that time of year. Answer some, send some over.
Okay.
Send them up there. But a lot of people are looking for sprayers and drill seeders, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
'Tis the season.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We'll go into board reports. Shelley, are you on?
I'm here. Spent the day out yesterday on the BLM next to my place and pulled a ton of weeds, but it's just 'tis the season out there for sure. Everything is is well on its way. So got the spurge, got the knapweed, got the Dalmatian toadflax. Definitely seeing the beginnings of white top coming in town. So that's another one.
White top with buds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Not so great, but they're not far from flowering, so it's impressed.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Shelley? Pete, right? Pete, you still on?
Yep, I'm here. Nothing on my end. Similar, seeing the same species starting to pop. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Mike?
Of the Augusta area, so driving here, springtime greening, I really impressed to seeing all the grass, and I'm sure there's a few weeds. And so it made me think, and I want to say, I could say the benchmark road, I was told by a previous district ranger, that it's the most accessed Forest Service road in Montana. So all the traffic, but I was wondering, with all the roads that you have to spray, I mean, the benchmark road, would you call it, how would you rate it for infected with weeds? Is it typical with the rest of your roads, or are you saying, oh my gosh, Mike, it's the worst road on the place?
Well, it is a busy road. And it is one of the longer roads there that we have in the county too. It's pretty good. But I'd have to look. I'm pretty sure we spray a couple acres off that road every single year. There's a lot of knapweed. There's a lot of knapweed up in
And
that
how does it
area.
rate with other roads?
I
Typical,
would
or is
have
it?
to, I'd have to sort of look that up to just sort of see how many acres there is, like, essentially per mile. That'd be the best way to sort of figure that out. But I could figure that out for you if you like.
I was just curious where,
Yeah.
what, I guess the goal is to control it, so
Yeah.
and if we're doing our job and you say it's getting less, that's great, but
Mhm.
you say it's.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the last couple of years and just sort of see, how many acres were sprayed. Or sprayed on it, or, and some years they were on it more, maybe less kind of thing. So typically try to do all the roads at least once. Which is hard, depending on, because things bloom at different times or grow during different times of the year. So, trying to find the time to get out there and do it more than once is tough. But yeah, I can certainly figure that out for you and let you know.
Thanks, and then, another thought that I brought to mind was with the turmoil that's going on in the world right now. Our budget for, fuel and all that, I mean, are you comfortable if things get out of hand by August with fuel prices, or we got enough in the budget to pay for all your traveling around for spraying? I guess that, and at first I thought, well, we'll do the far areas, but then I got to thinking, any place you drive is far, so you can't go just to the Augusta area.
Yeah, it's you no matter what you try to get to all the roads, so there's just really not efficient way to do that. No matter what, you just have to burn some gasoline to get some weed sprayed. But Audra does a really good job on looking on averages through years and trying to do that, plus take in look at prices and sort of just always try to balance that
Keep our
out
fingers
where we're
crossed.
good. Yeah. The 8 years I've worked here, we have never had a problem of going over
Good.
budget on the fuel. So, hope is it comes down just as it is for everybody, for the cost of everybody's operations, but, yeah.
And I did get letters sent to the Augusta 4-H Club and
Okay.
Augusta FFA emphasizing that we need everybody's support on the war on weeds. I know the 4-H Club meets on Sunday evenings, and so if they, of course, I gave them your phone number to contact.
That's all right.
And then the Fort Creek Spray Day is the first week in June. I don't have the date memorized, but I know I won't be here. And then the Sun Canyon Spray Day is in July.
Can you tell us you're gonna go down the Colorado River? Is that what you're gonna be doing?
Yeah, I'm out of here. And then what do you call it? The last thing is, like, I heard Spokane Wheat District and all that, and I was thinking, okay, so I mean, you can't recommend because of liability, but is there, when you're spraying, is there a combination herbicide you put in the tank that can control from cheatgrass to spotted knapweed and white top, or do you gotta go and look it up yourself? Yeah. But yeah,
Well, you know, I'm part of what we do here is.
well,
help
I'll
educate-
interrupt here.
Yeah.
So like, I was looking up, so, 2,4-D and milestone is what I was thinking, that's a good combination if I get to the weeds early enough. But I mean, is there, or is that not gonna work on some, I guess, that's.
Yeah, so just like I was trying to say, most of the stuff that we try to do here is try to educate people and help them out with the species that they have, when we go out and do land or site visits or property visits with landowners. But like 2,4-D milestone works for a lot of plants. But like, for instance, that's really not gonna work real well on like white top. So,
Or houndstooth?
If you catch it.
yeah,
early
it
enough,
can, but yeah, so like 2,4-D will work on it, but it just sort of,
Slows it
I
down.
would say it slows it down and it can help it prevent it from going to flower or going to seed. But like in that instance, like I try to like
Yeah,
encourage
escort.
people to use, escort. Yeah.
So, and you guys have a standard tank mix that you
Yeah.
guys send out.
Yeah, but like even our standard mix
Does
work
cover all.
for most things, but like for like us, our standard mix, 2,4-D is really the only thing that we have in there that's gonna affect spurge. If we have aminopyrrolid and metsulfuron in there, that's really not affecting leafy spurge. So, like for instance, like we just sort of have to mark those areas down and go back out there with a different mix to make sure that we're applying the right herbicide on the right plant. But we deal a lot with Borealism and white top and spotted knapweed and hound's tongue and common mullet. Like those are ones that we spend a lot of time spraying and mostly spraying those. So that's why I sort of put that what we have in ours. But like I said, 2,4-D is sort of like a comprehensive one a little bit. So like it'll still
Timing,
affect the plants and stuff. But like you need that escort.
Okay,
That's a common name, but like metsulfuron, you need an SU to like take care of mustard plants, especially ones that have rhizomatous roots like white top. So,
that's,
anyways, but I do that too, just because it helps give me also multiple modes of action in there to help with like chemical resistance and stuff too. So that way, because like when you're using 2,4-D and milestone, they're really the same. They're in the same family, the same mode of action. When that's why I put escort in there or metsulfuron in there because it's a different mode of action.
Okay.
So you're sort of attacking the plant, two different modes of the plant. So it's harder for them to develop any kind of resistance to those herbicides. That's what we've always sort of been taught through trainings and all that stuff.
all right, that's it for me, but thanks.
Monty?
Started seeing flowers on mustard this last weekend, so that's the earliest I can remember ever seeing it. Other than that, spent the weekend out at the Wild Montana with Alex and Lily. It was a good exercise. I don't know if I do it again, but I can't stand to be around that many little kids.
I heard a question on when they talked about the insects. did they say how, do they see a depletion of the insects already happening? or-
Well, what
or
we
how do you
had
save
is a dice and we had 6 insects, and so they roll the dice and they start pulling the insects out of the habitat. And eventually they get to where they're pulling the last insect out, and their pyramid collapses. There are 6 insects and about 36 bricks or 24
Oh, yeah,
bricks.
okay.
And so eventually the habitat just collapses and all the birds end up on the grass. Need to be picked up.
Was there any stats on what's happening with the insect
No,
population?
No, nothing. It was just a game for 5 and 6 year olds. So,
Please.
Well, like everybody else, I mean, it's greening up, things are booming. I was up in the hills this weekend and there was a lot of thistle rosettes everywhere. Not any shooting yet or bolting, but to your question, Mike, I think the 2,4-D milestones is just a great product for a base product, you know, like, and then like Christian said, adding the escort if you've got white top or something, but I did some research years ago on different combinations that were supposedly, I mean, it was a university study and they're targeting knapweed, and they said that milestone 2,4-D combination actually was more effective than Tordon and Tordon 2,4-D. So, and they were getting a better kill rate with that. And I that's just kind of one of my standard paint mixes. I run that a lot. Well, I actually run a product that's already pre-mixed. It's called Graze On Next. And it's 2,4-D and milestone mixed together. But anyway, what, you know, some of the stuff that's happening up in the hills right now, I mean, I think we're gonna have a hard weed summer, I should say, just looking at what's already growing. Getting after it soon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's already going. I went for a walk. It's all bolting and stuff all over the place.
And question for you, you said you're doing a biocontrol in Minneapolis, so the forward and evil, is that what you're, okay?
Yeah.
And you guys do a collection on that to get that, or you're buying?
For which one? Like, yeah, when we collect it, we go out and collect it for everyone on our biocontrol list, and that's what will happen with the Rocky Mountain Front. They're gonna actually get so many releases for that $5,000 that they're gonna spread out in the Dearborn, Augusta area.
So when you say that they're purchasing from
From a producer.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or bug farmer.
I mean, I know how many is 5,000, I mean, how many bucks is it?
Well, I mean, so we got 30 releases for Dalmatian toad flax, stem boring weevils for there's about $150 a release, so that's came out to $4,500 for that. So, and I trying to remember, we did purchase, we might have got some, trying to remember, I thought we purchased some spotted knapweed as well for the Beaver Creek area, and then I think Alex got some Canadian thistle biocontrol agents too, that we might be able to get down by the river. That was sort of the thought with that. Trying to remember the prices. I have the list in there, but typically 150 to 175 is sort of what it was for releases. Yeah. It's probably more like 175 for the spotted knapweed, because that is, Lonnie can attest to this. It's a lot of work.
Gathering them.
Yeah,
So,
so you
and
gotta
that's
pick each individual one and put them in versus like toad flax, you can tip over the plant and tap on the plant and they fall into a tray, or, you know, spurge, you just, as long as you can walk all day and just sweep the leafy spurge, you can collect thousands and thousands of leafy spurge.
And do you do that at full bloom on the spruce?
Yeah, they're full bloom. Typically it's, Dalmatian toad flax is like the first of the year. That's usually the first one that goes, at usually beginning of June. I've never collected this early before, so that was sort of intriguing for Alex and I to see that they were able to collect this early, but they're in its sectory, I would imagine is what they got going on. So it's a little, sort of like a greenhouse, so they're probably able to get a little bit ahead to get some of those out. And then leafy spurge is second, so that's sort of like that mid-June, sort of right at the end of toad flax is when we do the leafy spurge, and then end of July, early August, when it starts to get hot outside, they like it like it's like 100-degree day. They like, that's when they're the most active and the easiest to collect are on sort of warm, non-windy days. They like to get up to the top of the spotted knapweed plant so that way you can grab them. So yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rob?
Well, I haven't de-winterized my weed sprayer yet because been faced with still some winter. I have noticed hound's tongue rosettes for sure. And I've been fencing and calving and that kind of stuff. Jessica's about the county road. There's a stretch about 100 yards just from where I turn in off the county road. And when it's wet and snow or rain or whatever, I mean, the ruts get this deep.
Oh, right.
And I can't, I got a car. If I slide into them, I'm dragging my oil pan or whatever underneath there. So I don't know if, I should take maybe just a little gravel to fill that in and get it.
Where is it?
It's called the Lewis and Clark Road.
Hmm.
Wow.
Top 435, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is that what
it's
it
all
is?
435.
Okay. I'd like to the red department.
But yeah, it's and it's it's kind of gumbo-y, so you slide off and if you stay out of the ruts, you might slide off into the ditch too.
Right.
With a truck, it's fine
Right.
because you can drive down the ruts, but with a car, and it's only 100 yards, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
The rest of the road's great.
Okay.
Let's see that.
We'll get you on the list.
Good.
How long's the list? That's the list.
That's pretty much what I got, I guess.
Okay, thank you. So, EQC, that is, Environmental Quality Council meets next Tuesday at 1 o'clock is when the weed issue comes up for discussion again. We've met a couple of times to talk about, at least the MWCA has talked about a couple of things, and we put together a kind of a fact sheet for them, saying that this is kind of what we would like to see and what we wouldn't like to see happen in this next session. So if it getting drug out way too long, I think, and they're trying to bite off more than they can chew. So we narrowed it down to 3 or 4 specific topics. And one wasn't enforcement. It's just too big of an issue to try to combine it with something else. It needs to be a standalone issue. The whole weed plan or the weed act needs to really be looked at, but it's too big and too cumbersome to do it in one session. So we're hoping that over the next 3 sessions, we can get something done with it. One of the things that we are looking at is to get clarification on weed districts and boards and what the roles and responsibilities of each are. Because in the weed law right now, it says we may hire and oversee a weed coordinator. Well, we don't do that. So it's not a board's duty to do that. But in the law, that's one of the things that we're tasked with doing. So it's not accurate, it's not complete. There just needs to be some cleanup on it. So the other thing is looking at expanding a little bit in the revegetation part of it, because they don't include, right now it doesn't include several incidents of which can cause weed spread, like transmission lines and other types of things, so we're looking at trying to get that a little bit better. And cover more things actually, so. But we'll see how this meeting goes on the 12th, and I'll report back on that, but right now I think it's going good. People on this committee are starting to reach out to their local legislators, and especially if they've got somebody that's on that EPC committee. So we can talk to them and get them in the right mindset, I guess. Because unfortunately, not many of the legislature anymore knows exactly the history of that weed problem and the weed laws, so it's kind of starting from square one with most of these people, so we'll see how that goes, but and then we'll talk about it again next meeting, but next couple of meetings is the education awareness week. It's June 7th, starts on June 7th. So there's a lot of things going on across the state. But if you're an MWCA member, you'll be getting notices for that kind of stuff, and I'm sure county will be putting out some stuff too. So we'll see how that goes, but it's usually pretty good. And then, like Christian said, I know the Department of Ag is going to do the weed pull up on the old gun range up here in the gulch. That's dedicated to Greg Ames, so that's pretty important when they go up there. And they usually have a pretty good turnout though. So, but if you're available, you want to pull some weeds, have some good time. It's a good spot to go. So.
The old gun, is that the archery range?
Yeah, right. Yep. That's about all I have, so. So discussion, we really don't have anything in non-compliance.
Oh, I do have one little update. Alex, from the last meeting, I want to say, it was a thought and a question. Alex was able to update the definitions. Remember, you guys, you like the WD, so he was able to spell everything out. You can pass that around, but we'll have those for the meetings too.
Okay.
So we'll have this definition that'll go with the appendices, so that way you guys know what everything but he was actually able to go in there and update those terms.
Okay.
You know, because it was like WD fail and you know, and Commissioner Payne was like, oh, well, what does that mean? You know, kind of thing. And I guess, you know, for Alex and I would we weren't a part of that. We just both sort of came in there. So we just learned that that's just what those were and we're able to follow. And just changing it to bring it as a group, it's like, well, probably a good idea to see if we can freshen those up. And so they're just clear definitions and right out. So he was able to do that last week for you guys to help us out with it. So more descriptive, I guess, on the terms when we get them. So,
good.
And they'll show up the same way in Central Square too. So like as the chronology piece, so when we're going over that in that meeting that we had. So.
Okay.
Sorry, but yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to talk about.
So since Lily or Alex isn't here, how are they doing?
Well, they're killing it. It's amazing the amount of stuff that they're getting done. All kinds of stuff. I haven't been able to sit down with Alex quite yet to discuss what all happened this last week, but they're working on, you probably know more than me with work with them on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, getting ready for Weed Awareness Week, other brochures and booklets that he told me, and I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but fantastic job. It's been so fun to watch them and see what they've come up with already. It's been a really, really cool experience. I'm glad that you guys decided to do that Big Sky Watershed Core program. It's been really cool to see the amount of work that has, I'm learning lots too, and I've been doing this for 15 years, so pretty cool to see that. And so Alex is fantastic, Lily's fantastic. Like I said, they'd been here today if our final controls showed up, so it's just one of those things you gotta, try to get out there where they're still good and viable. They came from Missoula, I think, so overnight, so. Getting that mapped out too, and that's another thing that they've been really working on with sort of Lily's sort of skill, her background and GIS work and stuff like that. And then Alex going through that and doing a lot of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. We've been mapping revegetation sites. They've been going out mapping biocontrol sites, trying to build up history for collections for us to be able to go out and collect on like Forest Service land here instead of driving all the way to Missoula. Alex is hoping to do some of that stuff up in the Dearborn and Augusta area too with spotted knapweed, because the Rocky Mountain Front has done so much work in the last 15-20 years on biocontrol releases in that area that we might have some pretty good sites up there for collections. So that's something that Alex was wanting to look into and do that kind of stuff too. So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a lot of fun.
There's a lot more information that's been added to the website. And then additionally, the newsletter sign up is there.
Yeah, the website's actually functional. It, when you go into it now, you can actually get the information and you can actually read what's there. They're up to 40 species on the sheets that she's putting out. So she's got all 40 of them that we targeted to have written up. That collection is almost a standalone that could go to MC, the Montana Weed Commission, as a standalone publication, because it's different enough from everything else, and it's a lot more complete in the information that it has. So it's almost a tutorial for somebody who is just getting started in weeds. It'd be something that a school could use. We need to really think hard where we would not want to see that targeted as we start putting it together.
Yeah, those weed sheets are pretty cool. There's a lot of work in those.
How do you get to the weed sheets then? So on the
Yeah,
website?
you have to go to the website and then you can drill down. through
Listing
it.
Clark District.
Yeah,
Weed
yeah.
District.
Yeah, Jade can also show you here real quick.
Christian, do you have a way for them to, I don't know how hard it would be for them to have like a quick PDF without all the pictures? Cause it's like full page of picture and then I think it's all on like colored backgrounds. I tried printing one, cause I got a lot of people who come in about any questions too. And I remembered you guys talking about it. I pulled one up and I was like, oh, this is really handy. You got some great kind of just nice fact sheet on it. But gosh, printing like 50 copies of one of those is gonna kill our printer.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, I don't know how hard that is, but it would be something that we would be able to utilize more if you did something in that direction.
No, they made them in
We can make a printable, different print.
Something like, I love the color. It's more just like if I print out, it's gonna be
That's good.
a lot.
Good feedback.
They looked great, yeah.
Well, that's pretty.
Yeah,
They're very-
yeah.
there it goes.
So it has it all right there.
It's almost a compendia of noxious weeds of Montana.
Yeah, we share a lot of county listed weeds with a lot of other counties too.
So if you converted it to a PDF, would it be smaller?
It can give you the same size because it's like a full,
Just
I think just.
That's
the
what I
way-
I think they are in PDFs,
Yeah.
but it's like.
Yeah.
they're-
Oh,
yeah,
And they're easy to print. So it's
Just-
more just like
just all color.
All the
the
color.
volume of color, because everything was on colored background, and everything, and I could print a couple, but get a lot of people coming in, so I was just thinking for.
Yeah,
volume, it
yeah,
would
we
be
could get like a,
Like easy print version.
yeah,
Sure, yeah.
without having to change your printer.
Yeah.
Well, if I printed them in black and white, I feel like it'd be kind of just.
Yeah.
It gets muddy.
Yeah,
I
it
printed
looks
some in
muddy,
black and
yeah.
white. You can't really read them.
Okay,
Yeah.
Some of them are too dark.
okay,
Super.
yeah, that's good, good feedback, and I wonder if we could just have a
Yeah.
easier print version.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. For public comment, we don't have any public.
I have a public comment.
Okay,
Is everybody tired of those political things we get a stack of every day?
In the mail?
Yeah, in the mail. I mean, I get 4 or 5 every day. You guys get them in town here?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah, we do.
You know, and as adults, we've already made our mind up who we're voting for anyway. What a waste of money, you know? That's my comment.
Are we
Believe it or
gonna,
not.
we gonna do the discussion about non-compliance, the situation where non-compliance may not be necessary? That was brought up at our last meeting.
Yeah, that was a question that Monty
Yeah.
wanted to
Oh, sure.
discuss, was like, why, like in a. What situation would there be for you guys to not vote to send the certified letter?
to me, it would be case specific, but if they're not meeting. They're not doing what they're told to be doing or what we're asking them to do, then I think we just move on with it regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pick and choose, and I think we'd be in trouble if we picked one person over another not to do something with.
But
Yeah,
how about a situation where the land is in an estate and we don't have a living owner? It's in a trust or an estate rather, and it's going to have a new owner soon, but not necessarily at the current time. And so we'd end up putting a legal action on an estate, which is a no-win.
Christian, is there an option to leave a non-compliance case open and just maybe put a hold on that decision making?
yeah, there is, we do have that for the end too, as well as like, if it did go all the way to the end. This was the question more or less whether to just send the non-compliance letter, but we still have that action item, like if it was to get to the end and you guys didn't want to send it to legal, that you guys just want to essentially put it on hold. I'm trying to.
He said it could hold
Yeah.
over to the next year and it wouldn't be closed necessarily, but it would allow you maybe that time.
Yeah, we do have something in here. I think that one was already spelled out. These were the
Okay.
ones that, the definitions that, but essentially would be put on hold. To carry it over to, if you guys wanted to carry it over to the next year. To just see how cadastral plays out a lot of times it's just dealing with cadastral, to be honest with you. And just with the amount of turnover and land, you know. We deal a lot with the stuff here in the city limits or in the valley here, so lots of turnover. Anyways, just from my back, you know, all the years of experience of working here and struggles of trying to get through some of this stuff, but that Monty's, that's the only thing that I could think of is like for the non-compliance piece, right? Because you guys will have pictures of the noxious weeds and to verify that there are noxious weeds for you guys to move forward with.
But if we, what I thought about over the past month, if we have a change in ownership or the land is in an estate where we can't clearly define who's responsible to run the management plan, I think we have to wait till we
Yeah.
get a legal entity that's gonna be able to do it.
Well, like your landowner thing, we would hold off until we knew exactly who had purchased that property and then go with that program again and see if they're willing
Yeah,
to start over and, you know,
yeah.
go into a management plan.
Yeah, and then also, just for doing this, to think about it too, it might be a brand new landowner too, so they weren't the ones that owned it before and weren't taking care of it before, so to sort of think about maybe a nice way to reach out to them, like, I don't know, it's just sort of versus.
Yeah.
Property
Really
and.
case specific and
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking, if we go to a landowner who's selling the land, and then as it's in transition and then we don't have the new owner, suddenly we're interfering in the ability of that landowner to sell the land if we have any kind of weed compliance on it. Or we could affect the sale of the land if the new owner just suddenly says, oh, you got a weed problem, I'm not gonna deal with it. So now we're suddenly tied up in a land sale issue.
kind of, but in the law, it states that if a person goes to sell his property, he has to disclose if there's
That's
weeds on
right.
that property.
Yes.
And every real estate agent I've worked with in Montana has just checked that
Yeah.
no. I knew for a fact there was thistle on the property I had in
All the time.
Stevensville.
Yeah.
But they just said no.
Yeah, and that's
So-
one of the things that we're looking at from the standpoint of the EQC meeting too, so. But that's the other issue is if the state, if they're not following what's required by them. And we give them a notice of non-compliance, we're still legally set to do that because they're responsible for passing that on to the realtor
Yeah.
or the new landowner. So it's up to them to do that. If they don't do it, then that new landowner will come back and sue that person for non-disclosure.
And the question I had is now the county part of that lawsuit because we're the one that put the order out.
I wouldn't think so. We're following the law.
If we're following the law and following the rules by which we are governed, we have to follow through with our non-compliance, kind of irregardless of whatever it is that they're going through. If we can identify an owner or an estate, et cetera, we have to do our jobs regardless. And then in the end, it becomes a legal issue, and that's above our pay grade. The legal folks will have to decide what to do from there, but we have to follow what we have been tasked with. And I don't think we have we have some wiggle room in that if we just think it's in transition between owners or it hasn't caught up with or whatever, there's some wiggle room, but we really don't have the option of just deciding that we're not going to do it and because it may or may not be selling. That's not our problem. Their problem is that they didn't do anything about the weeds. Our problem is to do something about the weeds, and what happens after that is on them as the landowner. Unless a legal opinion tells us different.
Good discussion. However, this is a hypothetical situation, which based on Christian's percentages of responses and people acting on it is going to be extremely rare for that to even happen. I'd say we table this until that situation happens because
Well, I really think we need to have an understanding across the board that we're all in agreement that if we have this situation, however minor it might be, that we've already discussed it and made the decision so that it's not a case by case basis. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure that the weed management plan is in place. However, we understand that these situations may arise, and if they arise, this is our responsibility. And I think we need to have that understanding before we can go forward. Because the board 2 years or 3 years from now may have a different opinion, but we've already got it established based on our opinions. This is how we should go forward.
I think as far as long as we're following what the law allows us to do and what's in our protocols to do, So I don't think that there would be an issue of. And I know where you're coming from a little bit, Monty, but I think that as a board. Like we would say, we'd have to take each one separately and on its own merit. But, so it could change. I mean, if we decide, yeah, we're gonna do it this way and then something happens and then do we switch again, you know? So I think case by case basis, I think that's the only way that we can handle it. And I think as long as we follow exactly what letter of the law and what our non-compliance procedures are, I don't think the board has anything really to worry about or to, you know, I don't think we would be in any type of a legal issue, but we'd have to, I mean, that's something, that's where the whole weed law is a mess anyway, because you got 56 counties. And I said this before, you got 56 different attorneys with 56 different opinions. And there's gotta be some legal means of getting a direct answer from these guys on how we actually do this, because you got counties right now that won't touch enforcement. You got counties that, like us, that we probably got the most comprehensive non-compliance procedure that there is in the state right now. And you got other counties that don't have a budget to do it anyway. So it just really varies, but I think as long as we're following what we have in place, I think we're fine. And I think as a board, I think if we approve those Alex's plan and proposal, which we've done, I think that's all we need to do, because that's what we're following. And that's how we're handling non-compliance issues. So to me, I would say we're in compliance, and as a board, I think we're in agreement that this is what we need to do, because we've already had Alex put it in the plan, so.
So only if we can identify the actual owner.
Right.
Do we have a hold put on it?
Right.
Okay.
That's a good way to say it.
I think that gives us the one big if.
Yeah.
Which that will arise. I
Yeah.
will
I mean,
tell you right now, that will happen. It's just, there's always a couple of them where you just can't get you just can't get a hold. So hence the posted order addition to that too.
Right. Okay. Good on that? Okay. Next meeting will be the 20th at 3 o'clock here. If there's something to meet on, non-compliance wise.
Yeah, if any of those four voluntary compliance plans, that there's no response back from, they will move to Tennessee.
Okay. Any other items for the next meeting from anybody? Discussion wise? Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Back on. Thanks, guys. Out of here in 8 minutes before it's deadline.